Now, I think you're not using fetal bovine serum. So walk me through exactly what you guys are using and doing.
At OMI, what our scientists and what our founding team discovered is that essentially you can take the plasma from an adult cow, and we make a product that's a bovine platelet lysate. We call it Plenty. That's our branded name for it. It's slaughter free, so it doesn't require the slaughter of the animal. We draw that plasma similar to how a human being donates plasma. We use an apheresis machine. We spin the plasma out. The blood goes back into the cow. The cow walks away, right? And then we have a proprietary process that we process that plasma into Plenty. We take things out of it. We don't add things to it, which is, I think, for those that are scientifically minded, that's something that's very important to mention and an important distinction to make. And what we've seen is that Plenty performs honestly better than FBS. It's a 1-to-1 replacement, which means that however much FBS you're using, you use the same amount of Plenty, and it outperforms FBS. Our cells grow better, more of them, and they grow faster. And that's really what allows us to create much more, cultivated beef, cultivated animal protein, and do it much more cost effectively.
Mm-hmm. So a couple of questions there. You're replacing FBS. Are you also replacing scaffolding? For those who might not know, scaffolding just might be thought of like any architectural product, a building. You build the scaffold and then you build the building around it, given that scaffolding structure. Does it replace the scaffolding as well?
So in our case, yes. We also use Plenty to create our own animal protein microcarriers, which is something that's really exciting, and that's really what allows us to be able to say, hey, we're making 100% animal protein here. So we're not using any plant-based scaffolding or anything like that in our product either.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that in order to get the plasma and turn it into Plenty, you keep a herd of cows. Is this right?
We do, yeah. So we manage a small farm. We have about 60 cows. Our farm is here in California. Once a week, they come in. We draw the blood, we draw the plasma, and then they go right back out onto the field.
I think there's this understanding out there that outsiders are coming in and changing the way people do things. That's actually not right. Governments and even legacy meat companies are enacting change. So it's not a push from the outside, it's a pull from within, because the system we have does not work. So if we can scale, when are we really looking at seeing O-meat on the shelves and the glorified price parity?
It's a great question. So I think, obviously one of the things that we need to do, like every other cultivated meat company, is go through the FDA and USDA process, right? And I think, just to kind of go back to safety for just a second, right? Working with the FDA, working with the USDA, it's honestly been a very pleasant experience for us. It's clear to me that these regulatory bodies, have a growing understanding of the work that we're doing, and that they're eager to make sure that cultivated meat is available for consumers.
The Biden administration put out their biotechnology and biotechnology manufacturing big goals: cultivated meat, precision fermentation, plant-based innovation. All of it was in there with funding earmarked for these things, because governments have to focus on feeding people. Food insecurity will not get you reelected. And food as a national security issue, whoever controls the IP of food, is a very important topic. And governments around the world, Israel, Singapore, Germany, Holland, China, all know this.
I mean, I think 3 years from now, we're going to be well underway. People are going to be eating cultivated meat. It's going to be available for consumption. I think...
Wait. 3 years? I would have said 6 to 8.
Years? Oh, it'll be sooner than that for sure.
In hybrid products or an actual end product like a ground beef?
An end product like a ground beef, for sure. Yeah, the technology is a lot closer than I think people think. Now, look, the U.S. approving cultivated meat, that's the biggest signal that you can see globally, right? I mean, when the U.S. makes a decision like that, everybody else is going to follow. So I think we're gonna see an acceleration of regulatory approval. And I think cultivated meat, like any other technology, follows the S curve, right? It's gradually then suddenly. So we're thinking of it, as kind of the slow and steady incline that we've seen over the last decade. But this process is going to accelerate. The technology here is going to accelerate, and it's going to accelerate as we scale it as well. So, what we saw over the last decade is going to happen much, much faster over the next 3 years. So, to me, there's no doubt in my mind that in 3 years, we're going to be, cultivated meat is going to be available. Is it going to replace all meat in 3 years? No, that's going to take much longer, but it'll be available for everybody to eat. Certainly in the United States. I'm hopeful that Europe and the regulatory agencies in Europe are going to get on board here really soon and start moving forward there as well.